Hey Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission, where lifelong learners share our knowledge and experience to teach each other for mutual growth in this sphere of crypto. So if you'd like to share your insights, please join us at alphacommission.com or click the link to the Discord in the description of this video. I just wanted to do a quick update on our uh, Grayscale Bitcoin trust chart. So we've been following this for the last week or so, and I just wanted to show how much sense this chart made when compared to the regular Bitcoin chart, which may have been a little bit confusing over the last couple days. Well, just to summarize briefly, and you can look at the previous videos, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is where the smart money puts their money. That's all you have to understand. That's where the smart money is buying Bitcoin. It's not usually the regular population that's buying their Bitcoin from the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. There's some extra fees. It's kind of a hassle. You have to have a minimum of, I believe, $50,000. So, unless you're highly informed about these different financial instruments, you're probably not buying from Grayscale. The smart money is because it's more secure and they have a different vision than the general public who might want to get in and out of their positions very quickly. For example, Grayscale, you have to lock it up, I believe, for 6 to 12 months. I believe it used to be 12 months and they shortened it to 6. But the point is, this chart indicated how confident the smart money is in the market. And one thing that I had noticed is that they had never broken their downtrend. So while the rest of the market had broken a downtrend, the Grayscale Trust rejected, 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 rejected. They had been rejected so many times, multiple points along the way, whereas the regular population had just busted out. Now, this can just be considered just a regular movement within Grayscale's channel. But what we finally had, and what I pointed out, was that we finally had a breakout the other day. Finally had a breakout. And that's what we were looking for. That's what we were looking for confidence in the market. And you may have wondered, oh no, we were crashing this morning, what's going on? We're crashing. Well, this was just a perfect retest within the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. This kind of wedge this complex wedge that's being forged here out of the downtrend, and then it has this kind of, it's not even a wedge. It's almost like this strange, triangle that it has to reorient itself to now that it's broken out of this wedge under this major resistance. So what happened is that it tested it a couple times. It even came back into the previous wedge and said, nope, look how perfectly it bounced off there. This was such a perfect formation. It bounced to the T, right? It retested that months long support that it hadn't broken since November, and then it tested the top of this triangle that I had drawn, and then it came back, retested the formation that got it to break out. So it not only tested its support, but it also tested the formation. And this double roller coaster, I believe, was driven by the smart money in the market. They were trying to double check to see if they were confident enough to bust out. And when they got that second bit of confidence, they not only tested their resistance since November, but they also tested the bullishness of their breakout. They decided, okay, let's go for it. Let's go for it. We've decided. We, the holders of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, have decided that we are, in fact, bullish on Bitcoin. Now, I want to compare that to the regular Bitcoin chart, where this may have been a little bit more confusing. If you didn't know what was going on with the smart money over at the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, you may have just thought, wow, this is psycho, you know? This is very indecisive. We don't know if this is going to break to the upside or the downside. just a roller coaster. But this price action was directly correlated to this price action from the smart money. The smart money controlled what the Bitcoin, the regular trader chart did. And now we're finding that we're still in a resistance zone on the Bitcoin chart because, of course, Grayscale isn't everything. But I think what my experiment has shown, and what I've been watching over the last week, I think what my experiment has shown is that we should pay attention to this. We should pay attention to this more than what people are usually paying attention to it. I think a lot of people just dismiss this idea. And I wanted to put it forward, I wanted to track it, I wanted to make some hypotheses, and I wanted to check to see if they were valid or not. Because if we're going to use this, we need to test it, right? And you have to take a little bit of a risk. So I even based some of my trading positions just a little bit weighted towards this concept to put my money where my mouth is. And it paid off. It paid off. So what we're seeing here, again, in the regular chart, is we're really just in this zone where we could have bought down here. Look at this wick. It came all the way down, almost touching this green zone. You could have bought again in this zone. Well, I could have because these are my buy and sell zones. Obviously, you can set your own, and I'm not giving financial advice here. This is just what I've set up for myself. I believe we do have heavy resistance in this $46,000 area, so I am taking profits here. And then if we do break through that, I'm considering to buy back in. Primarily, I purchase alts, but anyway, I'll buy back in if we do break this zone, and hopefully we can get to 50,000, 51,000, something like that. If we are rejected here, then I'll see if we re-enter this zone, maybe I'll buy back a little bit. And if we break down under here, I'm going to sell my positions because this is kind of like a stop loss. And then I'll try to buy down here in the that $35,000 area. And hopefully we don't get rejected further. But, this is crypto, so anything can happen. Regulations can come out. The news can change everything. Now, I just wanted to go over one last thing since this is a market update. I wanted to go over our good old fractals that we had pointed out. I showed you this a couple days ago where I had just very loosely been following this fractal ever since this area, really. I've been following this fractal ever since this area. And I pointed out to my friends, wow, the spikes on the back of this hump that was being formed look very similar to the structure that we got over here. I didn't know quite where we were yet. And then I started tracking it. I started thinking of it kind of like a hand, right? Like these are the fingers, and then we eventually formed like a thumb, and the glove was kind of painted out. And I got to this point where I thought, look, we're in that capitulation right here. We're in that capitulation right here. And I really didn't know if we were going to create a new pattern, right? Because this could have been the upside and this could have been the downside. So maybe we would have printed a fractal of this, but going down. We didn't know. We didn't know. And so I just wanted to wait for some confirmation. And when I saw this hook, I pointed it out on the stream that I published. When I saw this hook, I said, hey, a lot of people aren't going to notice this, but it looks like we're going to repaint this fractal again. And so I hypothesized that, look, we even have a CME gap the way that we had over here. You can see it a little bit more clearly if I zoom in. We had this CME gap where the professional exchanges that don't operate 24 hours, they're closed part of the day, right? They're closed on weekends. And so they don't always print price action. So they have little gaps in their charts. Well, there was a gap right here, and there's a gap right here. So not only did we print this little hook, but we also got a CME gap while we were pumping. And I just thought, that's very strange. That's very strange. I thought, Wow, when would be the best time to manipulate the market to just pump it, to just break through resistance, to just get over this bearishness of the smart money if the 24-hour exchanges wanted to push this narrative, if the whales that operate at the 24-hour exchanges wanted to push us through, when would be the best time to do it? When the professional exchanges are closed. Because the smart money, which is a little bit more conservative and which had a chart that was a little bit more bearish, right? We look at this Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Look how bearish this is. Their lines are pointing down. They made a lower high, right? Lower low. This is lower than this. This little area right here is lower than this one. So every indication from the smart money was that they were bearish. And so if you are operating on this bullish higher high, higher low, if you're on a bullish, exchange and you want to push the market forward, when's the best time to do that? When these professional exchanges that are full of these guys who are, you know, the grayscale buyers, right? The smart money who are bearish, you're going to want to push that when they're closed. And that's what they did here, and that's what they did here. So the 24-hour exchanges actually built the confidence of the smart money, but the smart money, as we experimented with and saw, controlled the price action and limited the price action of Bitcoin. Now that we're starting to get aligned, perhaps we're going to see something interesting. Perhaps we're going to see something interesting because now the smart money is joining the regular money. And so we're now entering in a new era of Bitcoin where we're not sure what's going to happen. Are the bulls or the bears going to win, right? I hypothesized this about a week ago. I hypothesized that this little hook is going to be formed, and look what we did. Look what we did. Almost to the T. Almost to the T. 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. What comes next? We start this pattern over again. All right? Start this pattern over again. And I'm not saying that past performance is going to, predict the future. I would say that I'm interested in following where this goes. I'm interested in seeing if we can get into this area, maybe 50 to 55, right? Because this is 4. This is 4. And what did this area do here? What did this orange area do? It took out 4. It didn't take out 3. Didn't take out 3, but it took out 4. So I'm interested in potentially something like just like this. And we can go ahead and say 1, third time. And again, it's just a hypothesis. It's not you can't trade on this, okay? This is a fractal. Fractals don't always play out. And this is just one point of information. Do not trade on it. Do not put your life savings on this. This can break down. This could be a bull trap and they just send it back down to like 30K, right? Because we only have a lower high so far, right? This is just a lower high. It could just make a little lightning bolt like this. And so that's my second prediction is if we break under this area, we're gonna get smacked down, right? There's always an invalidation. Don't let anyone just tell you, "Oh, we're going to the moon." That would be highly irresponsible of them. Okay? But if we do repeat this fractal, then there's a good chance that we could be setting ourselves up for another one of these two areas. And again, like we could get smacked down right now. That's why I have those sell zones in place, because I want to de-risk, and only if we start pumping and recovering some areas, up here, then I want to buy back in to try to catch this move. Likewise, I'll sell around here if we reach this 50-ish area. I'm going to start selling. And then if we start pumping a little bit more, I'm going to get back in because I'm going to be very conservative because the economy is very weird right now. And that's just what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want. I'm not giving advice here. I'm giving very limited sets of information because we are just learners learning specific pieces of information, and there's hundreds of information pieces of information that you should be considering, not just one or two. However, I do think it's cool that that I was able to catch this grayscale breakout, that I was able to put some theory behind it, and that if you were in Alpha Commission, then you were following this along with all of us, and we were able to catch this move and understand what was going on, whereas everyone else in the regular market were just freaking out, saying, "Oh no, we're gonna go down. We're gonna, that we have no idea what's happening," right? They had no idea whether they were going to make it or not. And we were just chilling on the retest. We were just chilling. Oh, broke out, retest, test the top of this. Of course, we're at the top of a channel. Of course, it's going to break down, right? Top of the channel. Take your profit. Oh, bottom of the channel. Buy again. Break out. This looks bullish. We've got a little bit more confidence with our Grayscale Bitcoin Trust theory and with our fractals. We've got a little bit more confidence than the rest of the market. So that doesn't stop the fact that I'm going to stick to my plan, but I feel fairly confident that we may be headed into this area, and then I'm going to buy some positions back. I am taking profit, but I may be very willing to buy back in combination with other factors that I'm monitoring. Now, if we do get rejected, again, I'm ready to sell if we break below this level. If we aren't able to hold up here, I'm ready to sell, buy back here. If we break down further, I'm willing to sell again, and then buy back lower with a bigger opportunity, right? And the lower we go, the better the opportunity actually for the future is that I'll have. But what I don't want to do is hold on to my assets as we just go falling down. I want to have a plan in place. Even if it's not perfect, even if other people may have different ideas, I want to have a plan in place just in case we do fall to hell, right? And this one, this may be retesting the top of this triangle. We see it up here. Let's just make a guess for next time. So just the guess is we're going to test the top of this triangle, and then we're going to bounce. Could be a fake out. There was a fake out right here, right? It wouldn't be unlike Bitcoin to have a fake out. And maybe we just do it again. So let's see. And there's one more thing that I may want to mention, but I'm not going to get into too many details. But there is some political news today, so just continue to watch the news, watch for statements from the government. Stocks are something that you also need to consider when you're watching the Bitcoin chart, and stocks may be reacting to the political news that comes out related to inflation and other economic indicators. If the news is too bad, then the market may turn sour. If the news is better than expected or neutral, then maybe we're just going to continue on our way. So again, don't trade on any one of these concepts. You need to build a big basket, a portfolio of concepts that you're using in order to determine your position. But at least for those two things, I've got a little bit more confidence than I used to. And you know, as for the rest of the news, we're just gonna have to follow it. So yeah, we're re-entering our target now. This is being a little bit longer than I expected because I did want to follow up to see if we were gonna break back into this or not. And since it's happening live, may as well just pay attention. Well, we're not falling too hard. We're not just crashing. You can see we did have this price action right here also. Oh, getting a little bit of a bounce. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap this video up. It's been 20 minutes, so thank you for stopping by. And again, if you want to join us over at Alpha Commission, please do. And please sign up if you haven't already for the videos. Just subscribe. It'll really help me out. And I hope you can join us over at Alpha Commission. You have a good day and happy trading.